Cradle, Dogs of Fount, Chapter 2. He'd been there in the bar for about an hour and a half. It wasn't quite yet summer, but it was still warm outside. He had on a slicker, with the hood pulled over his eyes. The bar was dimly lit, and classical music played faintly, but loud enough to reach everywhere in the dive. The bartender gave the mysterious man a glance every now and then, but he wouldn't complain because the man had put 50 credits on the counter for an open tab and only had one drink so far. The night air puffed in with a new customer. He had thin, black-rimmed glasses and his hair was feathered, no doubt from nervously running his fingers through it all day. "Scotch, double neat," the nerd requested. He was in his 40s, so he'd probably only been a real fan of Scotch for just a few years. "Is it that bad?" quipped the bartender. The new guy chuckled dryly. "Let's just say I have some parenting to do when I get home." "Boy or girl?" "I got a boy on the south side. Good kid," the bartender stated. "Boy, he's 14 or 15. Ha! Can't even remember my oldest kid's age. Yep, boys know how to get in trouble pretty well." He put the nerd's drink on the counter and the patron took half of it down in one gulp. Sprayed up on his ex-girlfriend's dad's car. The bar was almost completely silent, even with the music, for a couple of moments. Then the two men burst into laughter. The man in the slicker didn't even flinch. "That's a new one for me," the bartender remarked. "Name's Chuck." "Mitch." They shook hands. "If you asked me if I really cared, I would have to tell you I don't give a crap. The guy called my kid a loser and made his daughter break up with him. Yeah, he makes a little more money than us, but a loser? Kiss my butt, guy." "Yeah, we have a lot of them here in Sisal." "What are you going to tell your kid?" "Well, I'm going to smack him in the head a couple times, see if he gets emotional. If he tries to fight me or if he keeps his cool. I'm guessing he'll back down because he knows he could end up in civil duties for half a year for something like this." Chuck nodded his head and poured himself a beer from the tap. The bell from a bicycle rang thinly just in front of the door on the sidewalk. No one noticed. "Then I'm going to talk to him man to man, just letting him know that arrogant dunce is no better than us, but there are better ways to go about things," Mitch explained. "I would have just scared the crap out of my kid at that age, when he was in high school. He was never really bad, but he responded better to intimidation." Mitch drained the last of his whiskey and shook his head. "Well, I better stop drinking before I forget to hold back on my boy." The two shook hands. The man in the slicker moved his arms underneath the table. "Next time I'm in Sisal, I'll drop by and grab a drink with you, Chuck." "Well, I better close up too. Doesn't look like I'm bringing in any more money tonight," Chuck said. Mitch looked back towards where the man in the slicker was sitting, but he was gone. "I could have sworn there was a guy in a raincoat over there." "I don't feel that tipsy," Mitch said, still swinging his head to see the whole bar. Chuck was dumbfounded too, but he just scratched his head and shrugged. "He gave me a 50, so it looks like I'm the one that made out." They both laughed. Mitch made his way to the door while straightening his collar. "Mitch," Chuck hesitated, "be careful out there." "I'm a big boy, but thanks, take care." Out on the street, the breeze was getting a bit cool. Mitch had on short sleeves and felt that the walk to the bus station was going to be uncomfortable if he were out from shelter for too long. There weren't too many people on the street. This was Sisal. There was money here, but people here worked hard to keep their cushy positions. Chuck's bar probably did well because he was the only dive to go to for sad people, Mitch mused. Nonetheless, Mitch wondered why Chuck's last words were sticking to him. He wasn't offended, he just didn't feel too safe, and he was in Sisal, which was just like a more urban Dearden. There was a dark alley coming up. It was between a 24-hour Chinese greasy spoon and a closed cleaners. He stopped before crossing the alley's mouth and peeked his head around the corner. It was so dark, He could barely see 20 yards in. He crossed it inside. He could see the bright lights of the bus station even from 5 blocks straight ahead. It looked warm and inviting compared to the trees that seemed to be shivering in the chilly, dark breeze. Mitch made sure to look around as he got closer to the bus station. He started to think that maybe he hadn't been such a great father to his boy, Benton. Benton never asked for much, maybe money for some new jeans, or a new comic that all the kids were talking about. He did fine in school, but Mitch just didn't spend enough time with him anymore. He reconsidered hitting Benton in favor of just yelling. Mitch made it to the bus station and grabbed a seat on the bench, facing the boarding area beyond the huge window. The only other person there was the clerk that was there to sell tickets. Need to take a leak, Mitch said to himself and walked to the bathroom. He opened the men's room door and went to turn the corner to the right to the urinals. Suddenly, he saw the guy from the bar in the slicker. The man pulled off his hood and stuck a gun in Mitch's face. "Mead! The tape recorder, your camera, and the notepad," Arturo grunted calmly. "I don't have them on me," Mitch said while backpedaling. Arturo struck him with a crack with the butt of his pistol. Mitch took his slim cam from his front pocket, his recorder from the shirt pocket, and finally, after shaking so much, his notepad from his back pocket. Tat! Mitch fell, and then blood pooled around his head and neck. Arturo was gone before anyone noticed him.